The 49ers have had the best tight end in the NFC West forever. They had Brent Jones in the 80s and 90s, Vernon Davis after him, and now George Kittle, the best tight end in the entire NFL and probably the best one the 49ers have ever had. But how does their current group of tight ends compare to the group of tight ends from the other NFC West teams? Let's rank them from the worst group of tight ends in the NFC West to the best. The Cardinals barely merit a spot on this list. They don't value the tight end position. Their tight end, Max Williams, caught 15 passes last season. His 202 receiving yards ranked below 4 wide receivers on his own team plus a running back. That's the Cardinals offense. They're a new age, college-style spread attack with 4 wide receivers and a running back. They bring their tight end on the field for 4th and 1, maybe the red zone, maybe. In that sense, they are the polar opposite, philosophically and stylistically, from the 49ers offense. The Niners are cutting edge and state-of-the-art, but they're old school. They use two backs, a running back and a fullback, plus a tight end. Condensed formation, stuff you saw in the 70s and 80s. The Cardinals are the future. Tight end has been one of the Seahawks' biggest weaknesses for the longest time. That's why they traded for Jimmy Graham a few years ago, traded their excellent center to the Saints for a tight end who ended up being washed up. Never really helped the Seahawks. They replaced him essentially with an offensive tackle. The last couple of years, the Saints have been playing backup right tackle George Fant at tight end, basically playing 6 offensive linemen. If they could just get anyone at tight end, they'd be more dangerous on offense. Last season, their number 3 receiver was a former undrafted free agent tight end named Jacob Hollister, who was okay, not bad. Now the Seahawks have Greg Olsen. Olsen's 35, but he caught more than 50 passes last season. Had he been on the Seahawks, he would have been their number 3 receiver, and he would have definitely helped the offense. He's not going to play 1,000 snaps next season, but he'll play maybe 20 snaps a game and catch 50 to 60 passes, and the Seahawks will be better because he's on the team. He's the first quality tight end they've had in the longest time. So they still rank 3rd in the NFC West, and they're way behind the 49ers and the Rams as well. But the Seahawks are climbing on this list. The Rams have 2 good tight ends. Starter Tyler Higbee and backup Gerald Everett. Everett had 130 yards against the Seahawks earlier in the season, and then his production tapered off a little bit. Higbee came on late. Higbee's 27. Took him a while to develop, but he had 400-yard receiving games in a row near the end of the season, including one against the 49ers. During that stretch, he legitimately looked like the biggest threat in the Rams' passing attack. And someone, not as good as George Kittle, but someone who was playing at a Pro Bowl level. I mean, 400-yard receiving games in a row. So, I said he's not as good as Kittle, but remember, the Rams have 2 guys. Is the gap between their duo and the 49ers duo that big? Probably not. It's probably not as big as you would think because the 49ers are more of a one-man act at this point. As I said earlier, Kittle's the best tight end in the league. He can do everything. Great receiver, great blocker. And the 49ers, even though I said it's more of a one-man act, still have the best tight end group in the division, mostly because he's so great. And the funny thing about this group is it can get even better. In 3 seasons, as great as Kittle has been, he's only scored 12 touchdowns. He should be scoring 12 touchdowns every season. He can get better, and the 49ers can get better in how they use him. Not just that, they have a backup in Ross Dwelley that they don't use enough. He had 15 catches last season. He could have easily had 30. He's got the best hands on the team, or right up there. Never drops a pass. Extremely reliable. And he would be a weapon in the red zone and on 4th and 1, 4th and 2, plays like that. The Niners can actually develop a tandem of tight ends. Right now, it's mostly Kittle. Next season, it could be 2. And Dwelley, former undrafted free agent, not a flashy player, but I'll say I'll take him right now over Gerald Everett. Niners just have to get him involved.